Welcome to my awkward second live stream on this channel. I'm like so nervous to do this right now. Live streaming is like the equivalent of like giving a speech in front of like a crowd of people because I can't like edit out my mistakes and like everything is like in real time. And I'm not the best at like answering questions in real time, to be honest, because I like to have time to think. Oh, hello. Yeah, that was another thing I was gonna say to make sure the live chat was working, but I see someone said hello on there, so that's good. So, I did cut my hair a couple weeks ago. My own hair, first time. I decided that this was a good time to do it because we were all in quarantine, and I'm like, well, if it gets messed up, like, no one's gonna see it anyway. So I like followed a YouTube tutorial, and I don't remember if you knew how long my hair was. It was like, you probably can't see. It was like probably like down to here. So I cut a lot off, but I don't think it turned out too bad. And it was time for me to have short hair. If you do cut your hair though, girls, don't follow the tutorials where it says to like pull all your hair in the front. Like, look for the tutorials that tell you to put your hair in like 6 ponytails and then like cut them like that. Anyway. So I did get some questions already for the live stream. I think I'll answer a few of them before I do this like casual name reveal. So one of the questions asked me what my favorite introvert in quarantine meme or something like that. And I looked back, and I don't know if this like counts as the meme, but like this was one of the ones I found to be funniest. I don't know if you can read it, but it says, "Oh, now everyone wants to know what introverts do for fun." And that was at the period where everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, we're in quarantine. What are we gonna do with ourselves?" And I found that funny. I don't think you can see it on the screen, but oh well. Hi, Rosie. Okay, so how about I answer maybe like 2 other questions and then I'll do the name reveal. Okay. One question I got asked me how I would deal with I guess like feeling weak and like feeling like out of place or something if I was like an INFP male. Because INFP males kind of have like double, I guess, difficulty because like INFPs in general aren't what society likes, but then like INFP males are also what is not considered normal for like a male to behave. Am I like cutting out? I just want to make sure that you can hear me. I can't tell if it's choppy or not on my side. But anyway, I am not sure how I would cope with being an INFP male. I think it's hard enough just being an INFP female. Okay, good. It's not cutting out. I feel like it would be very hard and I would probably like keep to myself a lot as an INFP male. Hopefully I would feel comfortable like being myself and like finding other like male feelers, but I really don't know how that would turn out if I was an INFP male. Like if it was like I don't know if it would be like the exact same life I'm living now, except I was male, then I would probably just have like, I don't really think it would be much different. It probably would be a little different because I think people have expectations of males that they don't have of females. So like in that regards, it might be a little bit harder on me to like feel like I need to be even more so like having a career and stuff like that. All right, one more question. Do I ever meditate? This is by Sinudge. I have a hard time meditating because it's hard for me to like turn my brain off. Like meditating is essentially kind of like clearing away all your thoughts and just like focusing on like being in the present. And that's actually something I really need to work on because I find that really hard to just like be in the present. So I haven't tried meditating a lot. I've tried it like once or twice, but it probably would be beneficial for me if I did it more. Okay. So to all 12 of you viewing right now, I am going to do a casual name reveal. I decided I was going to do it at 2,000 subscribers, but part of the reason why I decided to do it was because several people have already found out my name. They've already like found me on like other social media and they've like messaged me about it. And like a couple people have even like commented my name like on my channel in the comments, which I had to delete those because like I wasn't ready to reveal my name yet. So I want to do it on my own terms. So I guess like a drum roll. Okay. The real name of me and INFP is Brianna, which actually works well because, you know, it's me and INFP, but it can also be like Brie, the INFP. So like I could easily change my channel name if I wanted to, or I could just make it like, hey, it's me, the INFP, Brie, the INFP. And it is spelled with one N if you want to use my whole name, Brianna, not with two N's. Everyone spells it wrong. But anyway, that's my name. And moving on from that, I'm going to answer some more questions that I was asked. And for those of you watching now, if you have questions to ask me, you can just put it in the chat. A question by Demon Windu was, why do I think that I turned out INFP? What might be the cause of it? Thank you, Rosie. Yeah, my name, I do like my name, but yeah, I'm still kind of paranoid about like revealing like personal details about myself because like I want this channel to stay separate from like my personal life, and not many people in real life know I have this channel, and I would like to keep it that way. And you know, I think that's understandable to like want to keep those two, like my personal life, separate from like my channel. But anyway, I'm one of those people who thinks that pretty much like your personality is kind of determined at birth in a way. Like I feel like your MBTI type can be like formed just like by nature, I guess. But I do think that like personality with like a little p can alter and grow like as you grow. But like personality with a capital P, which is like your MBTI type, like I feel like I was probably born an INFP. And that's just like who I grew up to be. And I do find that interesting because like I feel like I'm very unlike like others in my family. Like I feel like I'm very like unique. And it's interesting how like I don't know, I guess how sometimes, you know, like completely different personalities are born into like a family of another personality. Okay, I'm looking at some of the questions in the chat. All right, I'm going to try to answer the questions that were already given to me first, and then I'm going to get to your questions. Okay. All of these following questions are by the same person. The next question is, if I was a lesbian, what famous girl would I like to make out with? I feel like I thought too much about this question. Because I feel like there are some girls who, like, I find that are pretty and attractive, but, like, if I was lesbian, like, I don't think I would necessarily want to make out with them. So, like, after some thinking, I decided probably Karen Gillan, who plays Amy Pond on Doctor Who. She's also in the new Jumanji and Guardians of the Galaxy. Because I think she's pretty, and I feel like, you know, like, if we had to, like, kiss each other, she would make it, like, light and fun. Okay. The next question is, what is the craziest thing I did? I guess, I don't think this is, well, I don't really know what the craziest thing is I've done. But one of them that comes to mind is when I was, like, a teenager, and I was visiting a relative's house, and behind their house, some, like, their neighbors had these horses, and for some reason, I decided to just, like, walk into there, and I don't think I actually did it. I don't even remember now, because, like, my memory is really awful, but I know, like, I ended up getting kicked by one by accident, because, like, I was kind of, like, walking up to it, and it got kind of spooked, and it kind of, like, kicked up his legs a little bit, and it just, like, it clipped my leg, and, I mean, it hurt, because, like, horses are heavy, but I think I actually did end up, like, just, like, chilling out on one of their backs. Like, it wasn't even my horse. Like, that was kind of interesting. What is the meanest thing I've done? I don't know the meanest thing, but I don't know if this is exactly mean, but one of the things I did recently was at my college, in my dorm room, I had loud neighbors on either side of me, and the walls are very thin, so they would, like, be talking on the phone, like, on speakerphone, and they would be, like, super loud, or they would be, like, watching a show or something, have it turned up loud. They were just, like, loud people, and it was, like, both my neighbors. So, like, one of the things I did to cope was to take the Hate Sand song from, like, the Star Wars parody playlist on my channel, and I would just, like, turn it up as loud as, like, I was able to bear it, and then I would, like, put the speaker, like, against the wall and just, like, blast it like passive aggressive, like, reaction to their noisiness, and hope that, like, eventually they would either, like, quiet down, or that, like, the music, I don't know, it would be my revenge for them being noisy. But, like, to be honest, I bet, like, they didn't even notice half the time, but, like, I don't know. But, I mean, obviously, I guess passive aggressiveness isn't the best way, but I actually I didn't do it like all day. I would do it for like maybe like 15 minutes, like 20 minutes or something like that. But yeah, I actually felt like that helped me feel like I had some kind of control at least. Like, at least if I couldn't make them like shut up, I could at least like take an action against it and be like, blast. But anyway. What are you most proud about yourself? I don't know. I guess like I'm proud of like the goals I've accomplished. If you could choose, what other MBTI would you like to be? Even though it's hard, I like being an INFP. So I'm not sure if I had a choice, like I don't think I would change to another type, but I feel like it would be much more helpful for me if I had like stronger TE or like some function that like made me able to like carry out my ideas and to like not procrastinate as much and to like be more on top of things. So maybe like a judger type, but like I like what type I am. And then the next question kind of goes into that. It says, is being an INFP too hard? Is it hard but worth it? Why? Yes, it is hard, but I think it is worth it because INFPs are very they're not like everyone else. And I feel like that can actually be a good thing because they see things in a different way that like no other type does. And like I feel like they have a lot of like valuable qualities to them. So I would say it's hard, but it's still worth it. All right, I'm going to take a break and answer some of the questions on the chat, I guess. Ironically, okay, so a couple different people are asking if I think Frank James is secretly an INFP, and other people are saying, oh, I thought he was INFJ. Like, ironically, I was like, I have a video idea where I was going to mention this. It's like, it wasn't going to be all about that, but it was going to have that in it. But, I mean, I guess I can say it here too. So, Frank James, if like no one knows, is like an MBTI YouTuber who kind of does like videos about INFJs and also like 16 personality type like parody videos. And he's gotten pretty popular now. I personally do not think he's INFP. It makes sense to me that he's INFJ, and I don't know why people think he's INFP. Because like when I watch his videos, like I can clearly see like all of his functions come out. Like I see his like FE, his SE, like his TI, his NI, like I see all that going on. And when I watch his videos, like he's very different from I am, and I can see that. And I feel like the reason why some people might be getting confused and saying like, oh, he acts like an INFP is because he's a 4 Enneagram, and a lot of INFPs are 4 Enneagrams. So I feel like that's why people might be getting confused about that, because like the things I can relate to from him are because we share the same Enneagram. I'm also an Enneagram 4. So I don't think he's INFP. I think he's INFJ. But I've heard a lot of INFJs think he's not one of them. But I mean, personally, I think he's a bit of like an unhealthy INFJ, which like can show up differently. But that's my take on it. Someone's saying they once got chased by got chased while riding a horse in a third world country. Goodness. Wow. So Iron Feather asks, if you would choose between having the cat of your dreams or the house of your dreams, which would you choose? You can still have a cat in your dream house, but not your dream cat, and vice versa. That's a hard question because, like, my next goal in life is to have a cat and an apartment. And to be honest, I feel like it would be easier for me to find the cat of my dreams than the house of my dreams because I can't afford to get a house right now. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to afford the house of my dreams. So I guess I would say the cat of my dreams. What is your... Rosie asks, what is your favorite type to hang with? Well, currently my best friend is an ISFJ, and we get along really well together, and, like, it's fun to hang out with him. So I guess, like, I don't know if that would necessarily be for all INFJs, though. Like, if we're talking about, like a blanket type to hang out with, probably, like, perceivers, to be honest. Because I feel like they can be, like, less judgmental and, like, make you feel, like, more relaxed. Yeah, people are agreeing that Frank James is an INFJ. Yeah, especially, like, I don't know, like, just the way he presents himself is, like, is very differently than than INFPs would present themselves. Brandon XM asks, how do INFPs view introverted thinking? That's actually... It's not one of my favorite functions. Like, TI. I mean, obviously, like, I have extroverted thinking, so, like, I think about things in a different way than TI. TI can sometimes be frustrating for me because they have, like, an internal work of logic. So they might be, like, ignoring external logic because they already, like, have an internal framework and they're like, okay, this is what's logical. I'm not going to listen to what's out here because I already know. Like, I feel like that can be frustrating, but I also feel like TI has a gift for, like, I don't know, like, piecing things together. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I guess, like, the way they think is unique. I actually have a theory. It's not, like, an airtight theory, but that, like, most of the types who are interested in philosophy are TI users. Although I do think, like, some INFPs have an interest in it, but I think the ones who are, like, super obsessed with philosophy are mostly TI users because of the way, like, they work. Okay, I'm gonna go back to some of my pre-asked questions. Can you sense other people's vibes? I believe I can in a way. Like, I'm not, like, an empath or anything, but I can, like, I feel like I'm very perceptive in that way. And, like, I feel like to a degree, yes, I can sense people's vibes. Like, I can sense if, like, especially, like, people I know better, like I can tell like if something's off just by like the feeling in the air or something like that. And then the next question kind of relates to that. It says, can you read people well? Would you say you have a spot? Would you say you could spot a manipulative liar quickly, or would you be more naive? I would like to think that I would spot them quickly, because I feel like as an INFP, I have kind of like an internal like BS detector built into me. So like I feel like I can tell pretty quickly if someone is like being manipulative, or they're like being fake, or like something's up with them, like they might be like a narcissist or like a sociopath or something. But I think a lot of the time I don't like voice my observations, so people around me might think I'm like dumb, or that like I might be naive or something, because I might like go along with them to a point and just be like, okay, I know something's not right here, but I'm just gonna keep that to myself and just like, see how things go until it gets to a point where like, okay, I'm out of here. So like I feel like I might come off as naive because I'm not voicing my internal suspicions. But I mean, that said, I still feel like it's probably possible for like a psychopath to like manipulate me or something, but like hopefully I'll be able to spot them before it got to like a bad point. Would you like it if a guy stood up for you? A simple answer, yes. I like that idea. Like, especially if it's like, I don't know, I guess it would depend on the situation. But like, if it was in a point of like I was being like bullied or something, like I would appreciate a guy standing up for me and like, hey, back off, leave her alone. I actually had some kind of like imagining like a while ago. I don't remember it very clearly now, but it was like I made up this scenario of this like if I had like an ENTJ boyfriend, and if we were like at school or something, I was trying to like, I don't remember, like debate or something, and like other people were kind of like bullying me about my opinion or something because I guess my debating skills are weak or something. And then he would like go in front and be like, hey, what my girlfriend is trying to say is, and then he would like argue in a much more eloquently way because of his TE or something like that. So yeah. All right, another question is, would you say you trust authority figures because of their position? I would say no. I feel like I touched on this a little bit in my quarantine video, but like in general, I have like an initial distrust of authority figures, like partly just because of my own issues. But I mean, like I'll respect them to a degree, but like I also feel like they have to earn that respect. Like I'm not just gonna blindly follow them. And yeah, like just because of I'm not gonna like blindly trust them just because of their position, because in my experience, the ones with like who are in like high positions over people are often the ones who are like not good at their jobs and who are like a little bit like crazy. Like I feel like that's a thing where it's like bosses and stuff, like not all bosses, but like there's like a high prevalency of like, I don't know, just crazy people like being drawn to like leadership positions, I guess. Okay. I thought there was like a few more questions. All right, here's one more question. What is your favorite trait in a person? I mean, like, I don't know if there's like just one overall favorite trait. I mean, I think like the first thing that came to my mind was like authenticity, like being like genuine. And then like my second trait would probably being like non-judgmental, I guess. Like if I was looking for like qualities in like a friend or something. Okay, how are we doing in the chat? All right, AS asks, do you experience any clashes between FI and FE in your interactions? Yes. Obviously, because I have dominant FI. And I feel like FI and FE are like the opposites of each other. They understand things very differently, so it's easy for them to clash unless they have like a lot of communication. And I think pretty much like all my family members have FE, so that's like really tough for me because it's like it's easy to be understood, like misunderstood. So yeah, I would definitely say yes, I've experienced clashes between FI and FE. Yes, someone asked, did I miss the name already? Yes, you missed it. I don't think I'm gonna say it twice, so you're gonna have to like go back to the beginning of this unless someone else wants to like help them out. Release the princess. Yes, I've been having these like either like late night or like early morning thoughts where I'm just like in bed and I just come to these like random realizations. And like a couple mornings ago, I was just like waking up and just like, I'm a princess. Just like, obviously. I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's like Sajal says that they love my song playlist and wish I would keep updating it. If you're talking about my broken song playlist, I do update that when I find new songs. My Star Wars one I haven't updated because like I feel like I found most of the Star Wars parody songs from that. Rosie asks, what music genre do you think describes an INFP the most? I would say like that, like, what is it called? Like alternative rock. Like it has that kind of angsty, like, oh, the world sucks, I'm just gonna keep like rebelling, and like I feel like that kind of describes INFP well. Like that's actually the type of songs I sometimes listen to when I'm like feeling down to like help me feel better, because like in a weird way it does. Okay, Iron Feather asks, what would your ideal types for parents be? I would definitely like at least one intuitive parent. And probably at least one perceiver parent. Because I think both of my parents are judgers. Like, I actually would like to experience, like, I don't know if this would be more stressful, but I would like to experience kind of like a bohemian, like, family lifestyle where it's like I have a bunch of like intuitive parents who are just really like laid back, and they're just like, yeah, like let's be like creative and like let's have fun. Like I feel like that would be cool to experience. I feel like it might be difficult though if like you needed help with real life things, like unless one of them was more like on top of things than the other parent. I would also like at least one of my parents to be introverted. So at least one introverted parent and one of them to be intuitive and one of them to be perceiver. But I'm not sure exactly like what MBTI type. Okay, Alavio, I'm not sure how to say that. Asks, how do you deal with the FISI loop? That's a difficult thing to deal with, and I feel like if you fall into it too deep, it can be hard to get out of it. I feel like SI can be difficult because like if you get into that loop where you're skipping your NE, because like NE is like the fun part of the INFP, and once you skip that, it's just like all like looking back to the past and then just like being in your feelings and just like torturing yourself in like a circle. And I mean, I don't know if I have like any expert advice on how to deal with that, but I would say obviously like to find a way of getting out of that loop, and probably the best way to do that is like engaging your NE in something. So like something creative or like things to just like, I don't know, get you out of it so you're engaging like your other functions. Justin says he would say fantasy, 2 steps from hell, Skyrim music for like the type of music to describe an INFP. Skyrim music is very like relaxing. Like I like that moment where you're just like walking around in nature and like the music is just like the calm kind of music and you're just like chilling. Ryan asks, is it easy for you to communicate with ISTJs? I have had some ISTJ friends. I wouldn't say it's like hard to connect with them, but I feel like it's hard to explain. Like sometimes I feel like there's just like something missing, where it's like I want to engage more, but it's hard to know how. But I have had like at least 2 of them as friends, and like I enjoyed having them as friends. I feel like for like the past week or something, I've been like coming up with these like made up scenarios of like what to talk about if like no one is asking questions during this. And I'm like, I know as soon as I like get to the live stream, I'm gonna blank out on everything. And yeah, pretty much I can't think of like all the things I was thinking about talking about. So disappointing. Rosie asks, what is my idea of relaxation? I guess it would depend on like, I feel like there's different kinds of relaxation, like depending on what you really need. Like if I'm feeling like really exhausted and drained, then like maybe sleeping. But if I'm feeling like I just need to wind down, probably like watching a good movie. Typically like either one that's like nostalgic or one that's like humorous. Like I do occasionally play computer games as well, but I feel like I wouldn't necessarily play those to like, I would play them as like, you know, like in my free time, but like not necessarily to relax myself. Yeah, someone said, I have so much to ask, but I'm here like, Yeah, don't you hate that when it's like it comes down to the moment and your mind just like blanks? Wes asks, have I ever played League of Legends? I have not. I was not allowed to play a computer game or computer video games like when I was younger, except like a very few very like tame versions. So it's only until recently that I started playing Skyrim, and that's pretty much the only like proper computer game I played besides like The Sims. I play The Sims 3 and Skyrim, and that's pretty much it. Dandelions asks, have I taken a look at the intelligent types? And if so, which one do you think would be your main type? It sounds vaguely familiar, but I am not exactly sure what that's referring to. Like, I might have seen it before, but I'm not sure. Brandon asks, what is my opinion on rap music? I hate the type of music that like screams. Like, I'm not a fan of screaming music. I'm not really a fan of like rap music either. Like, only like a very particular kind of rap that's more of like you know, like Alexander Hamilton type of rap. Or I can't remember the name of it now. Like there was like, I can't remember the name or anything. But like there was this other like kind of famous group that did like a well-known song that was kind of rap, and I do like theirs, but like I can't remember it right now. It's gonna bug me. Flower B asks, do I relate to the INFP type? What do I think distinguishes INFPs from INTPs? I feel like INTPs and INFPs should have like a lot of promise together, but I haven't had any close INTP friends. Like, I relate to them in some aspects because like some of the things we do are similar, like procrastinating, and like I think like as like an intuitive introverted perceiver, like we have those type of things in common. But like when it comes to other things, we can be very different. I mean, what like distinguishes them is, I guess their functions are different. So it's like they both have NE, but INTPs are very like into like TI, and because of that, like a lot of their interests can be different. Like, I don't know. So I guess like the thinker feeler is one of the major differences between us. Rosie said, I love how relaxed this live stream is. Well, thank you. I feel like I tend to like run out of breath when I talk, so I'm like trying to like Nop says, I really enjoyed the content. Thanks for what you do. You're beautiful, talented, and smart. Thank you. Wes, what is the most depressing thing from my channel? There's like a little bit of delay in the chat, so I'm not sure what that's referring to. Elijah asks, have you watched C.S. Joseph? That's, if I ever make this other video, I'm gonna be talking about Frank James and C.S. Joseph. I have briefly watched his videos. I do not like him. I think he inaccurately types people. I think he's basically a load of BS, to put it like frankly. I don't like him because I feel like he's giving wrong information to people and they're believing it. So that's my opinion on that. Adrian says, I don't escape anymore. I get out and deal with people. Do you? Are you asking that if I don't escape and deal with people? I mean, I still feel like I struggle with just wanting to escape. Because, like, I have both, like, avoidant and anxiety tendencies. So, like, that's kind of, like, it just makes you want to, like, avoid things. So, like, that's something I really have to work on. David asks, do I get bored easily? I actually don't. That's something that slightly bugs me about extroverts, because I feel like because like they're externally dependent on things to like stimulate them, they're always like bored a lot. And they're like, entertain me, talk to me, I'm so bored, I need something to do. And I feel like I don't often have that trouble, just because like I entertain myself, like, and like most of my things that I do during my free time are like solitary, so it's like, you know, I'm just like doing things on my own and I'm not normally bored because like, you know, there's always something that I can do normally. Adrian also asked, do I have INFP friends? To my knowledge, no. Like, I feel like I haven't... Whoa. I think someone just donated? Wait, it didn't pop up. Wes. Thank you, Wes. You're my first ever donator. Special. Do you have any other questions, Wes, that you want to ask me? Alright, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, INFP friends. Yeah, like I feel like I haven't met very many INFPs in real life. And the ones that I have, like I haven't gotten very close to. But like I feel like it would be nice to have an INFP friend. But it's just like it hasn't happened. Yeah, Dandelion, I think I will look into those intelligent types. Like, I might have heard of it already, I just have, like, forgotten, because, like, I've taken, like, a lot of, like, personality tests and stuff like that. Okay, Manuel says their brother's INTP and they have an insane amount of stuff in common. The main difference is how we relate to other people and nature and stuff like that. Like, do you feel like you are more into like animals and nature and they're more into like science and stuff like that? I mean, like, I feel like I should be able to get along well with INTPs, but like, I don't know. Like, just with the INFPs, it hasn't happened. Like, I did have like an interesting conversation with one about like traveling. Like, we both had an interest in traveling, and like, I feel like that's probably the key, is like, if they share the same interest as you, then like, I feel like it would be easy to get along, probably. Yes, Iron Feather, it will be lit. Thank you. I'm glad my voice is soothing. Even though I'm like, I don't know. Puppet Master asks, what position of sleep do I normally do? I normally sleep on my side. Sometimes I sleep on my back, but I'm typically a side sleeper. And I recently got a pillow that's supposed to be good for your like spinal alignment, because like I feel like since I injured my back like almost a year ago, like I've been trying to like be aware of like my alignment and stuff, and like your pillow actually determines a lot of that. Like when you're sleeping, like if you're a side sleeper, supposedly it's supposed to be kind of like a high pillow, because like your spine is supposed to be kind of like straight, like when you're laying down. And if you're a back sleeper, your pillow is supposed to be flatter, because it's not good if like your head is like up, because it's making your spine out of alignment. But yeah, that's how I sleep. Brian asks, how do you use NE to get unstuck from an FISI loop? The first thing that comes to mind is like engaging your creativity somehow. Like, there's different kinds of creativity you could do. It's like drawing, like, I don't know, video filming, like photography. Like other things are to be like maybe engaging, like try to engage like your humor side, or like, you know, like NE is an extroverted function, so it's like when you skip that function, you're focusing like all internally, and that just gets unhealthy the longer you're in it. So it's like trying to find things like outside of yourself to like pop you out of it, like maybe even just like nature, like I don't know, just something to like get you out of just focusing like inside. Yeah, Adrian, I do not make friends easily either. Right now I only have one friend. Oh, this is a hard one. Brandon says, what is your favorite fictional INFP character? I don't know if INFPs are like necessarily like my favorite characters. I believe that like Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon is actually an INFP with a 5 Enneagram. A lot of people say he's INTP, but that doesn't really make sense if you like observe his behavior. So like I like him mostly in the first movie. Like I feel like the movies after that aren't quite as good. Like Anne of Green Gables, I'm kind of like undecided if I like her. Like I like her all right, but like I don't know if I'm like, yes, she's amazing. I like Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. David asks, "Are you religious?" Yes, I am. I'm a Christian. So yes. Which side do I sleep on? I sleep on both sides. I like switch during the night, like whichever seems comfortable. I think they do say, I forget which side is it now, like, is it your right side or I want to say right side, but it might be left side, that like is better to sleep on for digestion because like it puts less pressure on your stomach. I actually want to look that up. I want to say right side. All right, which side? No, it's left side. So yeah, if you sleep on your left side, it's better for your digestion. Rosie asked, do I prefer day or night? I prefer night. I'm very much a night owl, which is actually, it's like a perpetual struggle because I end up staying up too late, and then it's like a vicious cycle where it's like then I like sleep in the next day, and then it's like I want to go to bed earlier, but now I can't because I'm used to staying up late, so I can't fall asleep. So then it's like I just sleep in again. But yes, I prefer nighttime. Is Race to the Edge? I did watch whatever spin-off series that was of How to Train Your Dragon. And like I feel like that really shows how like Hiccup is like an INFP leader of like his gang of Vikings. Yeah, if that's what you're talking about, I agree. Like the INFP-ness is super obvious. Luke Skywalker, do I like him? Yes, he is INFP. Like I'm kind of like neutral about him. Like he's okay. Like I wouldn't say he's my favorite character, but like I don't dislike him. Like I feel like he's kind of humorous actually. Justin asked, do I find that I get social awkwardness? Do I have difficulty making decisions, especially when under pressure? Yes, yes, and yes. I am socially awkward, but I feel like I hide it to the point where people think I'm like just cold and like a snob, when I'm actually just like anxious and like kind of like unsure of like what to do, I guess. I do have a hard time making decisions, and it gets much worse under pressure. Like I like having time to make decisions. I'm not good at making them in the moment. Yeah, and I feel like it makes it harder to decide things if you're like, you need to decide right now. Wow, Adrian says they got to 52 without being aware they were INFP and an empath. And now they feel empowered. Do I feel fully empowered? I would say I don't feel fully empowered, but hopefully I will get to that point. David asked, do I like to dance, at least in theory? In theory, sure. I feel like I'm not really a good dancer because I don't really do it. And I'm also like terrible of like knowing what my body's doing. But I mean, in theory, like, I don't know. I think a certain type of dancing I'd be interested in. Charles asks, what's your opinion on ISFP? I feel like ISFPs could be good friends for INFPs because, like, they have some similarities, but they're also different. ISFPs have that, like, SE, and they're much more, like, in the moment and, like, into, like sensory experiences than INFPs are. But yeah. I mean, I would also imagine ISFPs would be a little bit less, I don't know, maybe a little bit less introverted as well. Like, I feel like they don't, like, worry about things as much as INFPs do. Like, I feel like they're more easygoing. All right, good night. Sahal. Okay. Yeah, being misunderstood is normal for us. David asks, do you compose poetry or music? Not really. Like when I was a teenager, I composed maybe like 1 or 2 poems or something, but like I don't feel like I've ever been very good at it. Trying to think of. Oh yeah, I think someone asked like how I'm doing in the quarantine. Like, how are you guys doing? I've been honestly like stressed with homework. Like you would think I wouldn't be because like I'm at home and like supposedly have more time, but like I feel like somehow I have less time and somehow I have like a whole lot of assignments. So like currently I'm trying to just get to the end and like just get these assignments done. Like I am at home with my parents. And at the beginning of the quarantine, my best friend was staying here with me. But then he went back home. And I'm kind of bummed out, to be honest, because like I feel like I should be having more free time to like do fun stuff because, you know, we're just like at home. But I feel like I don't have much free time because of my school. So I'm kind of like waiting for school to be over. Adrian says, I have no anxiety at all. Is yours quite bad? I would say yes. I have both like social anxiety and generalized anxiety. So like social anxiety is like social related situations, but generalized anxiety is just like all kinds of everyday things, like all the time, just like worrying about things. And I feel like stress makes it worse as well, like if there's something I'm stressed about. So yeah, I'd say like I really struggle with my anxiety. Yeah, Courtney says at the end of the school year is kicking my butt. Can't seem to focus on working with everything going on. Also, Netflix. Yeah, like I feel like demotivation was a big issue of mine. Like as the weeks have gone on where I've been doing remote schooling, like I felt like I was getting more and more demotivated to the point where I'm like, I don't even care about this anymore. I don't want to work on it. I don't want to do. And like, I don't know if that's something a lot of students have been struggling with, but yeah, it's like hard. I actually haven't been watching a lot of like Netflix. I have been watching more of like Amazon Prime and like Disney Plus. David asks, am I very emotionally literate? Am I able to discover what I'm feeling and why? Yes, I feel like I do focus on like emotional self-awareness. So because I work on it, I feel like I'm pretty aware of what I'm feeling most of the time. And like, you know, like I spend time thinking about like why I'm feeling that way. What do I study? I am currently majoring in psychology with a minor in studio art. Marianne asks, what is my opinion on YouTubers Dave Superpowers and CS Joseph? Who is more reliable? I have not really looked into Dave Superpowers. I've heard that like Frank James like learned from him or something. But to be honest, like I've heard sketchy stuff about both of those YouTubers. So like I'm not like I don't think CS Joseph is reliable at all. But like I can't really say about Dave Superpowers, but like I don't know. Like I would be just matching up what they say to like other like info about MBTI. I mean, I wouldn't recommend CS Joseph, but like I don't know about Dave Superpowers, but yeah, like I mean at this point I wouldn't necessarily say that he is reliable just because I don't really know much about him. Oh, that's cool. Adrian says they help a lot of people manage their anxiety. Am I right to think that there is no mean in you? No, there is mean in me. Like, it might not come out in my videos, but like, I have mean thoughts. Like, I am not an angel. What types do you think are the most and least fashionable? And where do you think INFPs are on the spectrum? Typically, when I think like fashionable, I think of like types who are more like externally aware, like types with SE, I feel like would be more fashionable. Because like they're much more aware of like, you know, like being stylish, like what their hair looks like being in like fashionable looking clothes. So like I would say SE users. I do not think INFPs are very high on that scale. Like I don't think I'm like badly fashionable, but like I typically wear pajamas like 90% of the time. Like if I'm not out somewhere, I'm just in pajamas. And like when I am out somewhere, like I feel like I dress nice, but usually like casual and like in comfortable clothes. So it's like I can dress up if I have to, but I normally don't. David asks, have you taken the Big Five test? Yes, I have. Offhand, I know I came out high in neuroticism, and I might have been low in conscientiousness, and I think kind of high in like openness to experience. And then, of course, like low in extrovertedness. And I mean, I know a lot of people think the Big Five is more valid than MBTI. But the thing I don't like about the Big Five is that, like, it has like negative and positive like connotations to your results. So it's like, if you're high in extrovertedness, that's considered good. If you're low in it, that's considered bad. Whereas like an MBTI, like there is no good or bad scale. It's like, oh cool, you're extroverted. Oh cool, you're introverted. Like it's like just because you have different results doesn't mean it's bad. Like, I don't know. I just find it's kind of like really like saying that like extroverts have like a better quality of life or something. They're like, oh, if you're introverted, that's a bad thing. Soul asks, do you think INFPs can come off as cutesy as a defense mechanism for not wanting to be disliked by others? Like, I don't feel like, I feel like INFPs don't want to be disliked by others. And because of that, they might not like, they might try to like, I guess like, not offend the other person or not like act out too much, I guess, kind of like, you know, keep things inside and just act polite, like hoping it's like, okay, like I don't want to give too many strong opinions just in case they don't like that. Cutesiness like can be a mechanism sometimes. And I do feel like, yeah, I feel like sometimes, like, I'm not gonna be, like, 100 just, like, saying everything I think. Because, like, I would be afraid that, like, people would, like, disagree with me. I do not remember my anger score on the Big Five. Coffee or tea? Actually, neither. Like, I don't drink coffee or tea, like, just because I don't like the taste. Like, I've tried different kinds of coffee a few times, and, like, I just don't like it. And, like, I know tea is really good for you, but, like, I don't like the taste. So, like, pretty much the only warm drink I like is hot chocolate. Do I like Mumford and Sons? Not really. I've never really watched it, and like it doesn't look like something I would want to watch. Yeah, someone says as an INFP, they dress by just like sticking a hand in their wardrobe and just like pulling out whatever, and that's what they wear that day. Do I speak any other language? I do not. I'm trying to learn French right now, and it's a struggle. Like, the stereotype that INFPs are good at languages is not true, because like it's hard for me to like learn French. It probably doesn't help that I'm older as well, because it's like the older you get, the harder it is to like learn new languages. My Enneagram type is 4 wing 5. Alright, Wes says, heading out, great channel, grats on the 2K, and here's looking at 3K, keep being you. Thank you, Wes. I know it's hard being stuck wherever you are. Yeah, David, that's right. I'm a 459 tri-type Enneagram, and I've also scored high on Enneagram 6. Yeah, French is a hard language. It's like, it's very difficult, like, especially to like listen to. Like, I guess as you get used to it, it somehow becomes easy, but like they talk so fast, and even if they don't talk fast, it's just like it's really hard for me to like understand, I guess, audibly. Like, I feel like I'm starting to learn how to like read like some basic French, but like the auditory, like it's super hard, which is tough for me because I still have to take French too to be able to graduate, and I was going to try to take the CLEP test, but they have a really hard auditory section, and to be honest, like I don't know if I can pass it or not. Do I like 9 Enneagrams? My best friend is a 9 Enneagram, so I would say yes. I feel like they're an easy type to get along with because they're very kind of like mild and easygoing. And like they're usually like non-judgmental too, which is great. One of the criticisms I have about them is that they tend to kind of like fall asleep to their like to things in general, and they just kind of like pull away because like they don't want to feel things that make them uncomfortable. But like in general, I think they're a good Enneagram. Oh, Dandelion, that's great that you scored a B1. Yeah, I think that's where I need to be. And I'm like at the very beginning of French, because I'm like teaching myself because my school doesn't offer French from some stupid reason. So I have to like take it outside of my school. No, your questions are all good. That actually, like, thank you for providing so many questions so I'm not just like sitting here awkwardly trying to think of something to say. What is my zodiac sign? I am a Gemini. I am going to take a drink because my voice is getting kind of scratchy. What is my favorite word? Anything with IFI at the end. Wordify. I don't know what my favorite word is. See, like, whenever someone asks me, like, what's my favorite blank? Like, it's hard for me because, like, I have, like, a lot of favorites. I can't just pick one. Like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite song? I'm like, I don't know. I have, like, a lot of favorites. Yeah, it's interesting being Gemini. Because, like, I feel like I relate to some qualities of it, while others I don't relate to at all. Okay, Adrian, I think I understand your French. This, like, that's do you speak French, right? Like, I feel like for some reason I keep, like, forgetting what I'm learning too. Because, like, I managed to, like, when I studied abroad in England, I pretty much taught myself enough French to be able to take a final exam, and I got an A in it. I mean, it was like beginner French, but like I feel like I've like forgotten half of it now, and like I keep trying to like relearn it. Like maybe it's one of those things you just have to like constantly keep up on. 'Cause like I don't know, I just feel like it's difficult for me to like remember everything. I don't really know what my IQ is. I was actually just talking with my friend about like IQ tests the other day, about how like it's not necessarily like a measure of like how smart you are, like because of the way the test is. Like it measures like I feel like certain kinds of intelligence with like the activities they make you do. So it's like I feel like you could still be smart and not get a high score on it. But like I'm not sure what mine is. Yes, I have used Duolingo. I have like so many sources that like I just need to like get organized and get my stuff together. Even with Duolingo, like sometimes I guess I'm not exactly doing it consistently. So I'll like go on there and do stuff, and then like when I go on there to do stuff again, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I learned this." I'm like, "Wait, what does that mean again?" Like sometimes I'll recognize a word, but I don't remember what it means. I mean, I found this program. Well, it's not a program, it's like a website where like supposedly you can like do their like free course, and they're kind of like teaching you the kind of French you'll need to know for the CLEP. And then after you get done, they'll send you like a voucher to take the test. So like that's what I'm going to try to do. Like a lot of people say that like listening to French music helps, but like I haven't really found that helps, because like I feel like I need a basic understanding of the words first, because I'm like, sure, like that's a pretty song, but it's like I still don't understand what it means. Like I feel like I would have to be a little more advanced for that to help me. I am like getting cold. I'm in my basement and it's like cold down here. Marion asks, did you at some point in your life have OCD, specifically teen years, and do you think INFPs are more at risk? I am not sure if INFPs are more at risk. I do feel like I have had some OCD tendencies, but like I do not have OCD. I specifically notice I have some like contamination, I guess, like concerns, like about like germs and stuff. Like I'm very particular about certain things because of that. In my teen years, I would say I did go through a phase like right around like adolescence where like I had a condition that kind of was considered like an OCD related disorder, but like thankfully it was something that I grew out of. The Daily Inn asks, what do I think of Lord of the Rings? Tolkien was an INFP too. I'm not sure if he was an INFP or not. I feel like I would have to look more into that. I like Lord of the Rings. It's like, it's a very like in-depth story. And I don't know if you're referring to just like in general or like the books or the movies. Like I have watched the movies. I don't think I ever got through reading all the books. I read the Fellowship of the Ring, and I think I got like halfway through the Two Towers, and then I just couldn't finish it. Because there's a lot of like descriptions and stuff that's hard to get through. But yeah, I like Lord of the Rings. It's a good movie. I think some of my favorite characters are like, was it Pippin and Merry? What is my favorite letter of the alphabet? B, because that's what my name starts with. Okay, looks like some of you are going to sleep. Oh, I didn't ask, like, I guess what country you guys are from. Like, the United Kingdom or, like, I don't know, Middle East. I really wish I could think of all those things I was gonna talk about. I'm still blanking. Does anyone else have more questions to ask me? Oh, that's cool. Canada, Italy, Brazil, UK. Yes, I do plan on making more live streams. I don't think they're going to be very frequent, but there will be more. And I will tell you guys like before they happen. Mexico City. Oh my goodness. I just could not think of anything to say. See, this is why I'm like a bad live streamer. Like, I feel like good live streamers are those who are like really good at rambling, like in an interesting way. Like, that's what I've noticed of like the people I've watched who live stream. It's like they're good at like constantly like talking and like keeping the conversation going, but it's not just like blah blah blah. It's like they're like telling something interesting that like makes you want to listen. And I feel like I do not have that. Like, I don't really talk unless I have something to say, like unless I'm like with my best friend, and then I can just like ramble about random stuff. But I mean, like when it comes down to it, like I'm not a good live speaker. Okay, some people are asking me what the MBTI types of certain type of people are. And I'm not really familiar with the people you're asking about, so I can't really answer those questions. Like, only if it's like a character that like offhand I've already like researched and like know what their MBTI type is. Can I give an answer? Sorry about that. Oh, you're from England, Adrian. What, do you mind if I ask like what part of England? Oh, thank you. I'm glad I was natural with no BS. Still can't think of anything to say. Awkwardness. I did watch a video earlier today about Mr. Darcy, and it was about him just like staring. It was like a parody. It was about him like just staring at Elizabeth for like 6 minutes straight. And like the editor put in like captions about like his thoughts. It was amusing. About him just being like socially awkward. Okay, bye, Olivia. I am not sure who Jordan Peterson is. Like, I don't have an opinion on someone I don't know. I can like Google to see if I like recognize. It's a Canadian author. Yeah, sorry, I'm not really. It's not really ringing a bell for me. Looks like he has like a biblical series. I mean, like I said, also, like, even if I happen to have like read his stuff in the past, like my memory is crap. Yeah, Darcy is the embodiment of socially awkward. I like I think it's the 1995 version of Pride and Prejudice. Like, I feel like that Darcy was the best. Like, the one with Keira Knightley he was like okay, but like I feel like the older one was just like more accurate somehow. I am studying psychology. Yeah, like I'm not sure how much of a lag there is in between like the chat and the video. Mr. Darcy is a character in the book called Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. He's an INTJ and he's pretty awkward about expressing his feelings. I have not read Calypso's book Empirical Personality, but it sounds interesting. I've found that like when it comes to characters that are kind of like endearing in like movies, I think like INTJs and ISTJs can be endearing because they're kind of like really like rough around the edges, but like when they try to express their feelings, they're so like kind of like clumsy and almost like very kind of like vulnerable and like almost like innocent in a way, because that's like, you know, their inferior functions. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you've watched the show Psych, but there's like an ISTJ in it, and he's like is it FBI agent? Or is it just police? I think it is the FBI. But he like comes off as like really like tough and stuff, but then he, like when he tries to like express feelings, he just comes across as like so like, I don't know, like endearing. Just like, oh, he's so cute. Which probably like ISTJs hate that. Do I look forward to the future or do I dread it? I mean, I worry a lot about the future. Like, especially more lately as I'm like becoming more mature, because like I didn't used to worry about like my far future, like when I'm elderly, but now like I'm just starting to, and I'm like really worried because I'm like, I am not prepared. I have not started like any retirement, anything. Like, I just like have had this recent fear that I'm gonna like end up homeless. And like, I mean, that's not a very bright future, I guess. So, yeah, like I wouldn't, like I would say in some aspects, I kind of look forward to the future because like I'm hoping that like something like better, like I'll be taking in general. It's probably, yeah, I'm not exactly looking forward to it. Ooh, have I ever read Villette by Charlotte Bronte? That sounds really familiar. I feel like I've at least started it, but I don't remember what it's about. I mean, I have read like Jane Eyre. I actually don't read as much as I used to anymore, which is kind of like, I guess, disappointing for an INFP. Do I remember or write my dreams often? I would say yes. I used to keep like a dream journal, but I don't write my dreams down as consistently now. Like, only if it seemed like a really significant dream, then I'll write it down. But I would say, like, on average, like, I feel like I remember dreams, like, I guess, like, an average amount. But I feel like, it's been said that, like, the more you write down your dreams, like, the more you'll actually remember future dreams. So, like, I find dreams really interesting. Like, you know, like, trying to figure out the meanings of them and stuff like that. Someone said, ever had prophetic dreams? Um, I don't think anything really huge, but like occasionally I'll have a dream where it's like, you know, someone is some kind of way, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, should I like, you know, be on guard about, you know, this person's mood or something? And then like sometimes it like turns out that they actually end up being in that kind of mood or something. There is not a Discord for this community. I am kind of confused of how like Discord works. Like, I'm not really on that platform. Like that and like Twitch and stuff like that. I'm just like, I have not explored that really. How do you manage your anxiety? This Courtney has issues with anxiety as well. Don't manage it well. I mean, I'm probably not the best person to ask because, like, you know, I struggle with it too. I mean, like, I would say, like, counseling is, like, one way to get help for it. like depending on where the anxiety is stemming from, like I guess this isn't anxiety, it's stress, but like I found also that like my adrenal glands are kind of like put out, I don't know. So it's like those glands are what handles your stress, and when they're like not functioning right, then like if anything stressful happens, like there's nothing really to protect you from that stress. So like I find like that's one part of what can like make anxiety worse. How to help with it? I think that probably reworking your thoughts can help, like cognitive behavioral therapy or something like that. Because like anxiety is mostly stemming from your thoughts and like worrying that something's going to happen. But some of anxiety is just actually like bodily. You know, like it actually, like you have symptoms because of anxiety. I mean, just like finding a way to like calm that down and like reassure yourself, like breathing, like deep breathing and stuff like that, to try to help like calm your body down. Sometimes it might just be like managing what is making you anxious. Like if you can, like if you're just like, I'm just not ready to deal with this, then maybe like you just deal with it tomorrow or something. But like sometimes that's not an option, like you have to deal with it. So like I've heard like some people say like think about like what's the worst thing that could happen in this situation. You're like, oh, maybe like I'll get like a C on this assignment or something. I'm like, is that the worst thing in the world? No. Like, will you survive? Yes. I mean, even though that's hard to do if you're like in an anxious state. I mean, that might not be the best advice, but like I'm sure I could come up with a lot more if I could like go through, like I have a lot of like psychology articles that I've saved, but that's just what comes to mind right now. But yeah. Yeah. Like it's really hard how like connected like your body is to like mental health, and how they really like interact with each other, and like they can really make each other out of whack. Also maybe if you have like a supportive friend, like that might help too, if you could just like express your anxiety to them and they're like, oh, it's okay or something. I don't know. Like it just like some of it might just depend on you personally, of like what makes you feel better. Would I ever get a tattoo? ENFP and INFP are supposed to really like tattoos. I would personally never get a tattoo. That's not something I'm interested in. I don't like the idea of like permanently putting something on your body that you might change your mind about. Like I just don't feel the need to do that. And I don't think I would ever get a tattoo. That's true. There's nothing in the world that can trouble you more than your own thoughts. Yeah, I mean, like, controlling your thinking is like a large part of, I don't know, like a lot of everything. Your thoughts are like much more powerful than you realize. Yeah, like sometimes anxiety can cause panic attacks. Yeah, it's a hard thing. Yeah, like I found cognitive behavioral therapy to be really helpful. Like I did it for a short time. It was only like a few months, but like just in that time, like I feel like it helped like my self-esteem to like it's basically like confronting these like thoughts and beliefs you have about yourself and like comparing to see like how true those thoughts actually are, because like a lot of it stems from like distorted thinking. So it's like you're thinking things that aren't really true about yourself, but you're believing it because you're telling yourself that. But then like it's supposed to like kind of like rewire your thought process to have more like accurate views about yourself. Okay, I'm probably gonna go on for maybe like 12 more minutes. So if anyone has any final questions, now's the time to ask them. Oh, I think I might have missed the question. I'm just thinking of one that was previously asked. Someone had asked me, like, what was the most frustrating part of something about like videos on this channel. I can't remember the whole question now. It was something about that. I would say like the most frustrating part of like filming videos on this channel is that the videos like rarely turn out as good as I wish they would. Like after I film them, I'm like, oh, I should have said that, should have said this. And like, you know, like I feel like I have an image in my mind of like all the things I want to say, but like I said, like when it comes down to like the camera in your face, then it's like you don't remember everything you wanted to say. Another frustrating part is the editing. I feel like it takes me a long time to edit videos. That's the thing that takes me the longest, and it can really like slow down like getting videos out. So I would like to be able to edit faster and to be able to like say the things I wish I could have said, I guess. Do you ever fear becoming too famous someday? Not really, because I don't foresee myself becoming too famous. If I did become famous, I feel like I would have some worries about like my privacy and like my private life and stuff like that. But like as of now, like that's not happening. So what do I think would be the personality type that you'd be most comfortable marrying? I feel like now I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't even know if there's a specific type that I could, like a specific like MBTI type that I could see myself marrying. Like I feel like it's gonna depend on the individual person and like, you know, like how well we get along together. I mean, like it would come down to like their qualities, like not necessarily their MBTI type. Although there's some types that I'm like, okay, like generally there's no way this certain MBTI type is going to understand me. So like I wouldn't want to marry them. But like there's a lot of types that I'm kind of like ambiguous about. But like generally, I feel like probably a feeler. Like, I admire some things about thinkers, but like, I'm just not sure if they could give me the support that I need. And I will like an introvert. That is one thing that I'm pretty sure about. Like, just because like having a fellow introvert is just something that would like mesh with my style. Like, I feel like having an extrovert wouldn't really be, I don't know, a good partner for me because I'm very introverted. Do I enjoy thought experiences or experiments, imagining what it'd be like to date XYZ type? Yeah, sure. Like, I have an imagination, and yeah, like sometimes I imagine what it would be like to date other types. What is my blood type? Why do you want to know that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a Chinese study that says blood type. Oh, yeah. I actually showed my friend this, and he's like, what? There's like a Chinese study that supposedly says your blood type can kind of determine your personality. I don't know about that. It seemed very sketchy. I thought you were going to say, though, that like there's a study that like your blood type can determine how likely you are to get the corona. And I have a blood type that is supposedly more at risk. Thankfully, I'm safe so far. Yes, Johnny Depp is an INFP. Tim Anderson asks, what happened to the ASMR channel? Yeah, unfortunately, I posted a couple videos on there and then just didn't post anymore. And looking back, I feel like most of the ones I posted were like awful. But I'm like, I would need more practice, obviously, to get better at it. I just found it too hard to keep up with. Like with all like my school and then like this channel. Like, I feel like I haven't yet figured out how to make filming like easier for me. So I can like, it's not a big ordeal to get videos out. I feel like ASMR is also harder because it's like you need to be in like a really quiet environment, and like that has been hard for me to find in like the environments I'm in. And I don't know, I guess, I mean, like I would like to still post more on there, but yeah, I haven't posted there in a long time. Sorry. Yes, Enoch. Making lists helps me to remember what I want to say. When I did like speech class at my school, I like typed up my whole speech, like word for word, and like we had to memorize it. So I typed it up word for word and I memorized it word for word. And I went over it several times so that when I was like standing in front of people, I could just like read what I like I would just say what I memorized. And like I feel like sometimes that's what you have to do if you want to make sure you remember like what you want to say. Because I am not one of those people who can just like offhand be like, yeah, I'll just get up here and like give this great speech without planning. Have you done any writing since the quarantine started? Besides school writing, no. I mean, like, I have like a ton of story ideas that I would like to get on, but I just never make time for it. And I feel like it's even harder when you're in school because typically my classes are very paper heavy. So like I have a lot of like research papers and stuff, and I'm just like kind of sick of writing at that point. But yeah, it's like the last thing you want to do is do more writing after you've done all that. But I mean, like, hopefully in the future sometime I'll make time to write some of my stories. Do you think an INFP and INFP relationship could last? I've heard it's not advisable. I think it could last, but like the flaws in that is that you have two people who have the same flaws typically, and that's going to cause troubles if like you don't have a partner that's going to like balance out the parts that you're weak in. So that means like you're both going to have to work on the same weak parts, and like your relationship's probably going to suffer because of that. I would say also, like, we tend to get annoyed by qualities we see in ourselves in other people. So, like, we might get more annoyed with an INFP partner because, like, we see, like, our struggles in them. But, like, I feel like if they loved each other, like, I don't feel like that always happens. Like, if INFPs have attraction to each other, but, like, if they do, and they're, like, healthy and willing to, like, work on the issues and, like, you know, like, communicate about how to, like, compensate for their weak points, then, I mean, like, it can work out. What do I like most about my city? I don't really, like, live in a city. I live in, like, the suburbs. But, like, one thing I do like about where I live is that, like, pretty much everything that I would need to visit is within, like, a short radius of my house. Which is very different from, like, other people who might live more, like, in the country or something. Like my friend, and, like, everything is within, like, a 30-minute drive. Like, typically everything is within, like, a 5 to 10 minute drive to me. And so that's very kind of, like, convenient, I guess. That's an interesting theory. David says when two INFPs get together, one tends to shift into emulating more of an INFJ or ESTJ. I don't really know personally any two INFP relationships, so I mean, I wonder if that is true. All right, bye, Courtney. Thanks for joining. All right, I'm gonna give like 2 minutes and then I'm gonna close down. Thank you so much, guys, for like sticking with me this whole time and asking me questions. I was actually afraid that I wouldn't get many people asking questions, so this was really great. Yeah, I have found that to be true, actually. Enoch says, around another introvert, I will act more extroverted. And if someone is more introverted than me, I find that I will act a little bit more extroverted to, like, compensate for that, which is interesting. But I mean, like, most people aren't more introverted than me. But occasionally it happens. Yeah, one-on-one. My name reveal was in the beginning of my stream, so at the end of this, it will be posted to YouTube and you can go and watch it. Opinion on ISTPs? I have kind of like a neutral opinion on them. Like, I find it interesting how, like, they can be very introverted as well, but, like, in a way that comes off as more, like, mysterious, like, rather than weird. Because, like, I feel like me as an INFP, like, people view, like my introvertness and quietness is like asocial, and but like in not a good way. Like, why are you being so introverted? You're weird. Whereas like I feel like ISTPs manage to do it in a way where it's like, oh, they're so cool and mysterious, they're so introverted. So it's like people don't necessarily view it as negatively as they do INFPs. Marianne, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. Yeah, INFPs can talk a lot, but we value our privacy. I mean, I find that like I only talk a lot if I'm feeling very comfortable around someone, and like I'm feeling like it's kind of like a safe space. Then I'm free to like voice the thoughts I normally keep to myself. That's interesting. Enoch says introverted feelers come off as more like moody, and thinkers come off as like deep in thought. Yeah, like that makes sense that there would be a difference in like feelers who are introverts and then like thinkers who are introverts. INFP doing a live stream? Ballsy. Yeah. I mean, the last time I did a live stream was like 3 years ago. So, I mean, it's been a long time, and I mean, I feel like every time I do one, it's gonna be rough, but I'm doing it. Wow, it's been like 2 hours too, so it's like my first one was only like an hour, and I was like nervous during it, so I actually got like a lot of good questions and I didn't answer them all, and I kind of wish I could like had gone back and like answer them. Whoa, I think someone donated. It's like the noise. Oh, I can't see the name. It's so small. Could you comment if you would... Wait, subscribed? It's so small I can't read it. Somebody did something. Yeah, it's hard for an INFP to open up if they don't feel safe. Like, to be honest, like, I wish I could be like the person I am when I feel like totally comfortable with everyone. Because like, I feel like when my NE is engaged, I can be like actually like a very like charming and humorous person. And like, I feel like most people I meet don't see that part of me. And it's like, it's really sad that like they're only seeing like a very small part of me. And I wish I could like engage that part so like I could show people, you know, like what like a fun personality I can be, I guess. Because I feel like most people think I'm just like dull as dirt or something. What are your feelings, opinions, observations on TE? TE is kind of like the function I admire because it's my inferior function. And I wish that was stronger in me. So like I tend to admire it to a point when I see it in like in MBTI types with high TE, like, you know, like ENTJs, ESTJs, and even like secondary like ISTJs. Like I admire it up to a point. Like I admire how they get things done and stuff like that. But I don't I don't think I would like it if it was directed towards me in a bossy manner. So, like, I guess, like, I like seeing it from a distance. I'm like, yeah, use that TE. Like, I wish I had that. How old am I? I am 29, almost 30. I just watched a YouTube video the other day about this man who was also 29 turning 30, and he was like having an existential crisis about his life and being like, I'm old now. And then I watched it and I'm like, great, I'm old now. And he's like, now I have like an interest in stocks. And I'm like, I literally, like, just like a month ago, I was like, oh, I should start getting interested in stocks and trying to like learn how to like use them and stuff, like the stock market. And it's kind of confusing to me. But I'm like, great, now I feel like I'm old. Yeah, like David said, TE will eventually be your new strengths the more you mature. That's true. Like, the older you get, like, the more you strengthen them. But I feel like I need it the most, like, right now. Like, when you're younger, to be able to, like, I don't know, like, build your future, I guess. Behold, I am old. I don't know, like, I just feel like with age, like, I feel like in some ways I've already, like, lived, like, several times over, like, till the end of my life. Like, I feel like, yeah, I'm 80 years old in a way, but in other ways I feel like I'm still, like, lower than my age, like 21 or something. But, like, I just feel like I'm constantly, like, running out of time. Like, I don't know if anyone has listened to, like, the Hamilton songs, but it's like Alexander Hamilton, like, sings about, like, why do you write like you're running out of time? And, like, I don't know, I feel like somehow, like, in the back of my head is always like, I'm, like, running out of time. Like, I'm almost 30. Like, I need to be, like, doing stuff in life. When the future's uncertain, the best hedge is gold, silver, not stocks. That can be volatile at times like this and are propped up by central banks and governments. I mean, like, I don't really know much about the, like, investing. Like, that's what I want to try to get into, but, like, I need to talk with, like, an advisor about it or something. Because I know typically it is kind of uncertain. But I think it said that, like, more volatile stocks are better if you're planning on keeping them till, like, long term or something, because there's more time for them to, like, balance out. And, like, the reason I want to invest in something is for, like, so I'm not homeless during my retirement age. So, like, it will be a while. But, like, I feel like I would definitely research into something before, like, investing in it, because I don't really like the idea of, like, speculative spending, I guess, whereas, like, you could lose your money. Like, no, I don't want to lose my money. Like, I want to gain money. Thank you. I'm glad I'm relatable. Yeah, like, that's, T Frank, that's why especially it was brought to mind again to, like, be looking into stocks because prices went down because of the virus. So like, oh, this might be a good time to buy. Like, I don't know if it's already too late. Like, if it's rising, like, I don't know really anything. Like, I just know, like, I need to try to look into it. Yeah, that's very true. INFPs don't usually jump into anything without a lot of thought. Like, especially, I feel like I'm a very cautious INFP. Like, I have to, like, research everything and be like, is this the best choice out of everything I've researched? And, like, you know, I typically put a lot of thought into, like, most of my decisions. Yeah, sometimes too much. To the point where I'm like, well, I don't, like, what is that called? Like, paralysis analysis? Where it's like, I don't know, I've analyzed it, like, I can't make a decision, I just better not do anything rather than make the wrong choice. Like, I feel like that's what I do sometimes. What other function would you like to boost outside of your main functions as an INFP? This is by Michael. He says it would be SE function. I feel like SE, it isn't really my favorite function, but it would be helpful because I feel like I don't have enough awareness of like my body and stuff like SE stuff like that. And that has led to me, like, if I'm hungry, like putting off eating because it's kind of like in the back of my mind. And like not drinking enough and like not going to bed when I'm tired. And like that's something I want to focus on, is like having more awareness of like, okay, my body is hungry, I need to eat, not just like put it off and just go like, I don't know, be on YouTube for the next 5 hours. And also like something that would help is that like I'm very bad at like knowing how my body looks with like posing and stuff for like pictures. So like I feel like SE users are better at that. Like they have a better knowledge of like how their body like looks and moves. So like I feel like that would be helpful to be like, I guess, less awkward in that way. I am not an empath. Size are texture and cannot be trusted. Yeah, like I know when I was younger, I wasn't sure of like when I would smile for pictures, I felt like I wasn't smiling enough. So instead, I would go overboard and like smile to the point where like my eyes would be scrunched up. I'd be like, ew, like so wide. Like I feel like that's why I couldn't be in a profession where like I would need to like pose my body or my face, because like I don't know how to do that very well. Yeah, the problem with any is that you can see too many possibilities. Yes, seeing too many possibilities is really hard, because then you're like, I don't know which one is the right possibility. And like if I pick one, what if the other one would have been better? And like that leads to like not feeling confident in your decisions. Yep. Okay. think I'm going to end now. But thank you guys all for joining me so much. Alright, one last question. David asks, has anyone ever compared you to a celebrity as a lookalike? Yes. Some people have said I look like Liv Tyler, who plays like the elf girl in Lord of the Rings. Some people have said I look like Audrey Hepburn. Someone said I look like Keanu Reeves, who is a man. And at first I was like, okay, I look like a man. But like after looking at his face, like I can kind of see the resemblance. And he seems like a pretty cool guy, so I guess that's a compliment. I can't remember. I've been compared to like one or two other random people, but like those are the ones who come to mind. Alright, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you didn't catch my name at the beginning of this, well, yeah, Keanu is an INFP, which is cool. And like a lot of people seem to like him, which is also cool. Okay, I've been talking for like almost 2.5 hours. So I'm gonna end it. Okay, thank you guys all for joining. I will see you next time. Bye.